Hello and welcome. I'm Carol DeChaine. I am your intuitive spiritual guide for practical matters, a Marconic multidimensional energy practitioner and teacher. This month, I'm talking all about challenges that you might face. So today we're going to be looking at what the challenges look like. What do they feel like to you? Sometimes we ask for a challenge or we ask for an adventure because that's what we think we want. And all of a sudden we're faced with a oopsie, that's not what I meant. And you don't even realize sometimes you asked for it. So maybe the challenge, you say, I want a challenging job, but it's difficult. It requires too many hours. It requires, well, there's a difficult boss or people that you work with that don't cooperate or are hard to deal with or steal your ideas or maybe clients or uh, anybody, customers that come to you that are difficult, because that's what a challenge can be. You're being challenged. An adventure could be the same thing. It's exciting, but maybe it's not safe. Maybe it's something that gets your adrenaline up, but it's just not something you might enjoy some of it, but some of it it's too much stress. Especially an adventure is great for a specific amount of time, depending on the adventure. But a challenge, you really don't want for long periods of time. You want the challenge of this or the challenge of that, but you never hear somebody say, I wanted a challenging life. So be careful what you wish for. Look at what these challenges are you think you're facing or the difficulties and figure out where they are in your life. Look at each section of your life. Are you having issues at work? Like I said, all those things that can come up: boss, time, maybe you've been asking you to work overtime a lot or traveling more than you wanted, especially in these times. Perhaps you're now stay at home and that's not what you want. You wanted the interaction with all Zoom. Perhaps you're challenged when it comes to, there can be a lot of challenges, and maybe one part of it is not getting a promotion, having to work harder than you thought you need to, not earning the pay you want. Those are all challenges at an office. But other challenges can be your love life, not having the right communication with a loved one that you love, that you're either living with or that just a family member. Perhaps it's not just communication, it's arguments and just fights, misunderstandings, which are all of communication. But if you look at it for different words, you'll see, oh, yeah, that's definitely a challenge right now. So I don't know if I call it an adventure, but it's definitely a challenge. I'm not loving it right now for me. But it can also be in where you live. Perhaps you love your home and you're getting lots of ants or lots of other critters wandering through your house. I recently came upon a bunch of gnats that are just everywhere. And it's like, which plant did they come in on? I have no new plants. Why are suddenly am I getting these little teeny tiny gnats? They're getting fewer, but I can't figure out where they're coming from. Originally, I had a plant that did that, but that plant went outside and I didn't have any gnats forever. So this little tiny things. Maybe the rest of your house is fabulous. Somebody put in double pane windows for me, and then they told me there was a weep hole in it. And I went, there's a hole in my window? Why would you do that? But there was water in my house when the rain came in particularly hard and at an angle. And I'm thinking, why didn't you warn me about this? Why would I put double pane windows in if there's a hole in it? Because if there's a hole in it, obviously air is going to be coming in too. So there's a bunch of interesting challenges that may be tiny for you, but maybe your challenge is that you found rot, you found mold or mildew, your house is a disaster due to maybe hoarding of one of your fellow people you're living with or yourself. There can be so many different things, maybe just a bad feeling in the house. And those are challenges that you're facing because you come home and you conk out because you think it's your job and maybe it's the energy at your house or the people at your house that are making the energy feel poor to you. So you come home and you want to hide. There's also things of obviously like finances that I went into last month where things are just not how you wish they were. You don't have enough. You can't pay your bills, or you're losing your home, or your car is being repossessed, something obvious. You can't pay for the travel you want to take. The extras you don't have enough on. but you really, really want to go. So you're facing the challenge of trying to figure out, how do I get enough money for all of this? If that's one of your challenges, listen to last month, because there's 4 or 5 on that. Looking at these challenges, they can be so many different things in so many different areas of your life. Even if you don't think it's a challenge, look at the life area a little closer, because you might find, oh, this thing's been bugging me and I didn't even realize it. There's something small, something, I mean, even if it's something as simple as your spouse didn't take out the garbage and it's been bugging you, but you haven't said anything, but it's making you grind your teeth a little. Maybe the snoring that you can't help and you are trying to live with it. If you're new to being with someone, it's making your teeth gnaw at night. You're not getting enough sleep. It's a challenge. It's not necessarily a horrible thing. It's just a challenge that you really would rather not have. I've had a few weeks of not being able to fall asleep right away. And normally I'm asleep in 10, 20 minutes tops. And 3 o'clock in the morning rolls around, I'm still awake, sometimes 4. And it's a challenge, because you just aren't your best the next day, especially if it happens 2 or 3 nights in a row. And hope it's not 2 or 3 weeks or 2 or 3 months or 2 or 3 years in a row, because then that becomes a real challenge and difficult. And it may not be something you think of that much as a challenge, but there it is. It's something you're going, oh, yeah, it would be so much easier if I didn't have these things in my life. This whole month is going to be about addressing them, but today all I'm asking you to do is look at your areas of your life and figure out, where are those? Where are things that are a little harder to deal with? Things that maybe you didn't even think about. I know there's lots of noise in my house because those stupid windows have holes in them. So therefore the noise comes in. They're not noise canceling windows, which is what, if I'd known that there was such a thing, I would have asked for. We have construction a catty corner across the street from me, and it's a huge amount of construction, been going on for a couple of years now. There's the garbage truck that comes in on Thursdays. Underneath my condo is the garbage door, which bangs every time somebody opens it and when they close it. So they go in, bang, they throw their garbage in, I hear the lid bang of the garbage, and then they open the door and bang the door again when they're closing it. There's motorcycles coming down and around through. There's Safeway trucks across the street from me backing up with the sound. So there's lots and lots of noise. So if you hear it on the podcast or on the YouTube videos, you know why. There's nothing I can do about it, let alone your own alarms and your own TikToks and your heaters coming in. So sometimes there's bonging from my clock. All of that noise stuff is a challenge when I'm trying to do a video or an audio. But those are minimal compared to other issues. At least with the podcast, I edit it so I can take out really large noises and I just wait for them. But the challenges may not be much that bother you, or they could be huge. So just look at them and maybe write them down. You don't want to focus on them yet. You just want to write them down, because those squeaky wheels can really annoy you. The things that are not working, the things that are small. But if you write them down, you can see all those negatives maybe about your work, and you can go, what do I have gratitude? What's the good thing? But let's just look now what the challenges are. Don't dwell on them. Just figure out what they are in each area of your life, because then you can take steps to mitigate them, to shift them, to focus on what's good. All kinds of good stuff will come from figuring out what is a challenge and what is a good challenge versus what is like, oh, what did I ask for this for? This is not my best idea. Maybe rethink the word challenge, because when you look at what you're facing, look and see if you asked for an adventure or a challenge or something that's a similar word that makes you go, oh, that's not really what I meant when I said that. Because if you have that, you're going to realize it's okay, but maybe I need to refocus and shift my wording, shift my thoughts, because those are huge. So figure out, what are those things that annoy you, that are a little difficult for you, that sometimes you can come through and go, yes, I did it. This is wonderful. And sometimes you're just grinding your teeth, like I said before. Figure out those challenges. And now, as we go through the month, we'll be talking about how to deal with them and how to let them go. Until next week, as my name, as I said, is Carol DeChaine. You can check out my website as well as my my podcast, both called Connect to Joy with a 2 in the middle. So Connect to Joy, and that will be underneath this video. Please do, if you like, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's under Carol DeChaine, in case you came across me accidentally. I have about 3 years with a lot of the Joy Corner in it, which is about I am affirmations, and at least a year's worth, so 52 at least, of guided meditations on all sorts of specific subjects to help you. You may have to unearth them. They may be kind of down buried in there, but there are a lot of them. Until next week, please find the joy that you can. Be grateful for the things that work for you. And I know that I believe in you, and I hope that you can believe in yourself.